Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Stuart Vine.
My name is Joshua Plummer.
And here is our review of Elimination Chamber 2021. This is the second to last stop for the road to WrestleMania 37. I remember the days when it just used to be one pay-per-view, but apparently WWE want to, as they say, milk that cow and have two on the road to WrestleMania. That kind of sucks, but but I have to admit, with this pay-per-view, as you can, Josh would probably agree, I'm assuming, wasn't exactly excited for this pay-per-view.
No, they do the usual generic promo of the Elimination Chamber as one of the most devastating structures, which undoubtedly it was if you look at the original, the steel floor, that chain-linked kind of cage, is quite a what's the word I'm looking for? Terrifying, I'd say, imposing structure, but I'm not a fan of. Well, they kind of not contradict, but it's. When they're talking about it's completely devastating, they did the whole spiel of like Hell in the Cell as well. But when you've got padding there, like on the outside, not exactly devastating. When you've got the plexiglass, which is just bendy, I mean, it's loud. I mean, that helps sell. It makes it sound more devastating. But for a chamber, elimination chamber, it's meant to be like brutal. And this was very, very tame.
Well, think about it think about it in the sense of like Hell in a Cell matches are supposed to be this gruesome feud ending kind of structure that if you're in it, that's like, this is going to be brutal. But I think maybe it's because we're in a situation now where PG era.
But you can set people on fire.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. But I mean, it needs to be brutal or have some repercussions to being in that chamber. Like, everyone in that chamber comes out with like, was it like broke like a hand on a sling, like taped up ribs or...
Yeah, the next night on Raw where people would come out, like Triple H would have like a massive bandage on his head where he just got cut open. I know that was the days of blading, but you can play with that. Like, they are banged up afterwards.
Yeah, but it is rare though. I think they've done a good job. So, like, it makes it rare. So, like, in a match like that, they could do that. And obviously, as you said, that they can burn people alive and do that kind of stuff. So... If that's the level of like, well, we can do that, but we can't do blading. It's like, come on, let's do something here. But yeah, it's the same thing with like cage matches and same thing. But yeah, I mean, weird thing about this pay-per-view is like, I think it was like a week before, it was only like 3, 4 matches. Like, was it an advertised for? Both of the chamber matches. The Roman Reigns, of course, match where he faces the winner, and I think the triple threat for the US title. But nothing else. It was very weirdly booked.
I'm not quite sure if they're trialing that. For the last couple of times they've had maybe only 5 or 6 matches on the card to get to... Because you can still have, like, TakeOver is a perfect example. 4 or 5 matches, you still have that 3-hour running time. But we have constant... that have those, like, 8, 9 matches, and some of them are just ridiculously short, and there's no point of having them. Just have the most important stories, what are the biggest stories going into the pay-per-view, bung them on the show, especially if ones that are required to go for at least 25-30 minutes. Otherwise everything else is completely irrelevant. I think I'll just have that on the payoff on the Smackdown, make that a big kind of main event.
Yeah, I mean, they've done that, as I said, it felt like a filler show.
It is a filler show. I mean, they put in a few surprises, which was good. But yeah, it needs to be much more barbaric. They could have been.
Well, I mean, I can't remember if it said they've put a bar out there now where you said burning people alive. So I'm not saying like brutality, like most of Triple H's matches in 2000, just like busted open, blood everywhere, attacks or anything like that. But come on.
But they're technically doing the same. They're technically doing the same model as AEW, where AEW are just doing the televised shows, not doing house shows. That's what WWE are doing at the moment. So surely they can afford to take some more risks. They can take that extra couple of bumps. I mean, I completely get it. We're not wrestlers, and what are we to say what wrestlers should and shouldn't be doing, with their bodies. But for an elimination chamber, I mean, we had a few dives off the top, which was cool, but I'm not buying that it's the most barbaric, brutal structure in the history of WWE. I think because it's lost some of its mystique as well. Firstly, it had that original big circular design, which I'm a big fan of. But when you have it as a themed pay-per-view each year, it's like Hell in the Cell. It just loses its mystique, I think.
I got into it. It's just like, again, it's one of those pay-per-views WWE always seem to put across that it's like, it's obviously filler, and it always is that pay-per-view that, again, if I didn't have to watch it or watch it for the curiosity of like just a wrestling fan in general, if you missed this, like, and this might sound harsh, what have you missed? Except for maybe one or two things that you can probably see on Twitter and get back and kind of understand what's happened. But like as like stuff involved, like I said, going in, I thought it's like, okay, there wasn't a lot of matches that pulled me in, if you know what I mean. Like maybe the one with the Smackdown Chambers match. But except for that, none of the other matches really made me think, if I miss this, I'm missing out on something going in. If you know what I mean. I said I might not be the only one there. I don't know if you feel the same, but
no, I think I thought the way that the Smackdown Chamber went down with Bryan or Cesaro, one of the faces winning, Roman Reigns coming out straight away, winning the title, was inevitable. The big talking point of the WWE Championship match wasn't anything that actually happened in the chamber. I mean, there was one small surprise, or kind of two small surprise things, which we'll get into. But the big talking point was what happened afterwards. I mean, I completely understand because there was a giant title change, but we should have been talking about, oh man, you see that point in that? I mean, we're going to do that now, but no one's going to be really speaking about, oh, that spot in the match was awesome, or this thing happened, or my God, they took a huge bump here. What's going to happen to this person as a result of this injury or this thing that happened?
You didn't have that this year, did it? Because you normally have some sort of spots. I mean, you had one or two, but it was a lot of binary numbers we've seen before, kind of stuff. I don't know what else you could do in that kind of environment, but it just didn't. It felt a bit more. They've had to go by the numbers of what spots they can do, kind of thing. But I don't know. But again, these pay-per-views are always like this. Sometimes WWE, it's like sometimes you get consistently good wrestling matches without a lot of story, and then you have matches like this where pay-per-views where you just not. I don't know. It's just I could skip this and I would still kind of know what's going on. Obviously, if this was a kind of, us going, okay, yes, what's this pay-per-view? That's we're not these people. We're not these people. Sadly, as I said, we wouldn't be very good PR guys. I mean, I wouldn't anyway. But we can only be honest to our opinion, so that's what that's why you're here. But anyway, let's get and kick off talking about some talking points. One thing I just want to a new little thing I want to start with the show. A new little thing I want to try. If you guys like it, let me know. Obviously, Josh kind of knows what I'm talking about. Start the sort of review with kind of a question that's we'll ask at the start, and then obviously we'll let you know the answer at the end. Something just to keep, just something new to try out, because got to try something new, I guess. Yeah,
something to think about during the podcast. If you're uninterested in our conversation, at least it's something to think about throughout the show.
Yeah, it's just as you can probably guess, I'm a man paranoid that that continuously thinks that people find us boring and no one actually is intrigued what we say. So I'm trying new ways, to try and keep everyone interested. That's maybe I'm just really paranoid in that sense. Probably a good thing, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, enough of that stuff. That's the question. Is to leave you on is the question is, who has been involved in the most Elimination Chamber matches in WWE history? Obviously, obviously Josh won't answer, of course, but have you got a quick idea what it is? Who it is?
There are a couple that spring to mind. Obviously, you got people like, say, Orton, Edge, Triple H have been involved in a fair few because they've been around for ages. But then you've got like long-standing kind of mid-cards that have also been around for ages as well. So like Kofi Kingston might be a surprise one. I mean, he was randomly inserted, or not randomly, but very kind of last minute. Last minute, he was inserted into the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match. So maybe.
So there's a question for it. Obviously, I'll let you know the answer at the end of the review. So hopefully you can stick around to find that out. But it's a new idea. It might. Let me know if you enjoy this, because obviously it's more of a, as Josh would probably let you know, I'm more of a, I always have a lot of ideas. I've never shorted them. Execution, that's always the problem.
Execution, of course. Get your thinking hats on, and we shall get our critique hats on. Shall we begin with the Elimination Chamber match for the number one contendership for the Universal title?
We could. But again, it's just
we could, or we could just completely skip it. I mean, nothing really happened.
No, not like that.
Roman wins, lol.
There we go, problem solved. There you go. Nice knowing you all. See you later. Bye. No, it's because obviously there's one or two little niggies in the kickoffers that could be replications for the main show that just want to go over. Not going to go too detailed. Obviously we learnt that Keith Lee was pulled from the triple threat because he's picked up an injury. Mm-hmm. So that kind of before the show, that kind of sucked because obviously he could say he might have been the favourite for that US title triple threat. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't on the show, so on the Raw Go Home show. So we're fearing the worst. Also, the Lacey Evans and Oscar match wasn't on the card at all. It was booked, but they just it felt like they kind of ignored it.
Is that because of the pregnancy angle they're going with?
Yeah, that she's I love the way you have to go and she's legit pregnant, by the way, people. You have to make this clear in wrestling. You have to make this clear in wrestling because when they said it, they were worried. They're not going to do a story where they say it's Rick's, is it? Like Ric Flair's.
But they are doing the story there, it's Rick.
I think apparently they're losing interest in pulling the storyline. I'm just like, thank you.
Yeah,
very much.
I'm not surprised either. I'm not. Anything to do with Charlotte being a face, or just getting Ric Flair involved is like, yeah, okay, now let's focus on Charlotte's legacy. Now we don't need to have her dad involved in absolutely everything.
It's just not a fan. But if they didn't get rid of it, I just feel sorry if the Oscars got to be involved in it. Just me. But that match did not happen, so don't really have to talk about too much detail. But because of the Keith Lee thing, they done a US title qualifying match in the kickoff between Elias, John Morrison, Mustafa Ali, and Ricochet. Again, as we didn't watch the match, but obviously we knew who won. Obviously, John Morrison won that match. Again, going into US title thing we talk about later, I didn't know that going in, so it was kind of a surprise when I found out, John Morrison, that's a interesting choice. But again, we're kind of talking to that when we US title match. But yeah, I just want to talk about it briefly, just to bring it up because obviously it does kind of tie into the main show, sort of. Yeah,
and it has ramifications for our JSPL prediction league. So that's going to be fun to sort out.
Oh yes, I'm glad I kind of gave you a bit of heads up on that one. No, especially the triple threat, because WWE do like to swerve us or add a match last minute when we've already put the prediction sheets out. It's really annoying for Josh.
Stop doing that.
Josh hates it. But anyway, yes. So yes, now, Josh. Yes, now we can talk about the opening contest of the night.
Okay.
With the as you expect, they did when they've got two Elimination Chamber matches. I was expecting them to kick off with one because it's kind of how you would do it, wouldn't it? If it's the whole show's Elimination Chamber, you just kick off with a Elimination Chamber. So the question is, what one would they start off with? But no surprise, I guess to me, was they started off with the Smackdown one. Obviously, this Elimination Chamber match was not for the title, but the chance to face the champion later on in the night. It involved my pick, Daniel Bryan, everyone else's pick, Cesaro, the safe pick, Kevin Owens, the shot in the dark when it comes to pick Jey Uso, everyone's favourite conspiracy theorist, Sami Zayn, and King Corbin.
No one's favourite king.
No. But yeah, I said I was looking forward to this the most because again it had more. I wasn't sure where they were going with it. The Wars one was like quite straightforward in my opinion, but this one a lot of people were a bit confused where to go with it. It's always good going into a chamber sometimes. You didn't know who was going to win. Like you were kind of curious where they could go.
I think it was going to go. I always thought it was going to go down to two, either Daniel Bryan or Cesaro. I mean, Kevin Owens has had opportunity after opportunity. Owens was really pumped up, really fired up at the beginning of the match, like headbutting the pod. I think he was squaring off against Jey Uso. They've got a lot of history. So whether that's going to tie into... actually, no. Daniel Bryan going against Roman Reigns, but that's not the case now at WrestleMania. We'll get into that in a second.
It's kind of my thinking with that. Kind of why I picked Daniel Bryan in the end. Because it's like, I thought, well, I'm not getting a WrestleMania match, so maybe they'll do it earlier. But, cool. As always with this kind of stuff, it's just a lot of stuff to get through and stuff. Got one quick question. Maybe because WWE like to sort of change details of history. Perfect example of the ruthless aggression stuff. Did Triple H actually create the Elimination Chamber?
I don't think he actually, put on a pair of like overalls and like a welder's mask and actually built.
It's his idea though, because it's like I hear like Chris Jericho, like the Money in the Bank was like Chris Jericho's idea, but WWE like kind of like to put across that like that's their idea when it's obviously somebody else's. But when I was doing my notes, that's the first thing that they said. Oh, it's Triple H's idea. I'm like, is it? Was it?
I thought, either Triple H or Eric Bischoff or kind of co-creation. Because I always thought it was Eric Bischoff. He was the man that introduced it in 2002.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just I just thought it's a question to ask. Like, because how like WWE like to, I said like sort of tell a different side of history when it comes to stuff. Perfect example of many of their Monday Night Wars kind of DVDs where they cut us. So a different version of history that they like to say, not actually what happened. But anyway, it's no point. I just thought I quickly pick your brain on it because you might know more than I did. So I could have looked it up, but there's no fun in that. So I thought I'll ask you. So
yeah, like there's no point or no fun in looking up the answer to our question earlier about who's been involved in the most Elimination Chamber matches. Triple H is one of those names that I had a thought about. Maybe it's him. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Who do you think it is? We'll let you know later.
But again, it's just like, a lot of stuff to get through. It's basically a situation of the first. Obviously, we had the first two that started off. Obviously, the Chamber was obviously Danny Bryan and Cesaro. We all know how good they are because they had that really great match in last month on Smackdown. That I think a lot of legend. I think it was like Kurt Angle praised as like his he's up there with his matches between him and Brock, or like him and name he can't be said, Benoit. It's kind of that we can't say his name, but them kind of feuds that kind of is high praise when you talk about the quality they had. So you're all expecting good stuff here. The way they've been booking Cesaro lately is about damn time. Let's be honest. But the story of that kind of like them between these two in the match was that Cesaro kept working on Danny Bryan's leg or knee. That would play into the end. We're playing throughout the Chamber. It's kind of when I saw that, I kind of thought that that's where they were going to go because it was an obvious choice.
Both guys trading European uppercuts. Cesaro showcasing his strength with Daniel Bryan going for an armbar submission. Cesaro picking up in almost like a powerbomb kind of pose before Daniel Bryan counters again. So showcasing Daniel Bryan's probably a better technical wrestler, especially in terms of his submission game. Nice prolonged elevated suplex from Cesaro as well, just walking around with Bryan. That was a good spectacle. Yeah,
which is really good stuff. I mean, it's just as you expect. But then after that, you had, as I said, everyone's least favourite King. King Corbin comes in, just does what King Corbin does.
I love the audibles. I love the audibles from Sami Zayn in the pod going, no, not me. And I was expecting it to be Sami Zayn. It's like, he's going to be first or second, isn't he? Oh, no, he's not. He's going to be third then, isn't he? Oh, no, he wasn't. So that was a good surprise. Then Owens afterwards, when Corbin came in, it's like, oh, why him? Just why him? Like, Bryan, just get him on the ground and just tap him out. Just get rid of him.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, that's the thing with the whole camera thing with Sami Zayn as well. A bit was like they got rid of his camera crew. It's like, why?
Yeah.
They're not doing any harm.
No. In that case, why didn't they get rid of Omos, like, earlier on?
Well, they did eventually, but...
Yeah, they did eventually after he broke into the cell, into the chamber pod.
Maybe Sammy's got a point.
So he has got a point.
Maybe there's a grand conspiracy against Sami Zayn.
I want to watch that documentary. I really want to see that documentary.
Please tell me they're actually filming that. No, it's just going to do it cameras doesn't mean I would watch that.
Yeah,
like, make it be like make it into like them really over the top 90s kind of mystery shows.
Mm-hmm.
You used to have their mystery shows where they talk about this person saw like a UFO, could be a ghost. Find out more on this, like proper over the top 90s mysteries like episodes.
Or even eventually leads to his face turn. Eventually, you think it's going to be like, oh, this is complete nonsense, He's just a massive crybaby, a sore loser, thinks everyone's going against him. When actually, oh no, he's got a legitimate point. That is bullshit.
But to be fair, he does, and I think that'd be best either way. He's got the kind of, again, everyone's loving his work at the moment because he's been brilliant. He's like really good at the heel stuff, and I would be up for that. I'd be love it if it's like you find out actually, they have been screwing you, man. I would love that, but I mean the bit when he's like kept he done the whole chicken shit heel thing where it's like it was his time to come in, but he said no. He left the door closed. It's like, okay, that could work, but maybe I missed a spot. But then it's like all of a sudden Cesaro just steps through the plexiglass that I guess broke earlier in the match that I just didn't pick up on.
I think both sides slide open fairly quickly. Like you don't have to break in like you used to, going through the glass or having to unlock it. The referees on the outside when they were more of a cylinder shape. They're fairly easy to slide open, but it was a nice reveal.
Yeah, I just like it. Just again, it's because Sami Zayn's so good at being that guy. It's like the over the topness of his heel work is so good that he can. And also, it's Cesaro that's been awesome lately. So, just thought I'd point out. It's like, well, I thought there should be class there. Maybe it's another part of their conspiracy. Maybe they took it out just to mess with him. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But more stuff, cool stuff for Sami Zayn in this match. He missed a haluba kick. And hit his arm on the side of a pod that looked pretty cool. Tried it on Danny Bryan. You had that weird spot when him and Cesaro were climbing on top of the pod, and then basically Sami Zayn trying to get away, climbing across. They're like kind of like the wall of the chamber. I was expecting something a bit more spectacular, but that's because that's what it looked like they were trying to do.
Yeah,
a spectacular spot. But then it just kind of ended with Cesaro kicking him off, him falling over, and then him doing push-ups.
Pull-ups. If he's doing push-ups on the chamber upside down, that'd be even more impressive.
Well, do you know Cesaro is the guy? The guy is so capable of doing it. But he done that, and that was awesome. He, as always, Cesaro just kicking ass as always. He got the first elimination. That's obviously awesome. Was that flying uppercut that I still think should be his finisher. It's such a finisher move that I wish that he could put more people away with that. Maybe it has been, but I just wish it was. Big old
diving or running European uppercut. That was my go-to finisher in the WWE 2K games. It's a nice surprise hit out of nowhere. Kind of like a super kick or a spear. You can just hit it anywhere.
Well, exactly. It's just like it's similar with the phenomenal forearm. That's kind of like springboard, kind of just like Superman punch type thing. Like that's a finisher, so why can't that? I just think it's got the spectacularness you need in a finisher that can come out of nowhere, as you said. So, but hit that, but it wasn't enough. He locked in the sharpshooter on King Corbin, and he tapped out. And I guess everyone was kind of salivating that he got kicked out first. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, they try to redo or try to make amends from the Go Home show SmackDown, where they had the 6-man tag match, and Cesaro just couldn't pick up Corbin, or could only get him round for 2 spins, but managed to get him up some good elevated multiple rotations for that Cesaro swing, which is always entertaining.
I can't wait until when the fans can come back and they can all start counting again. I can't wait for that, mate. I'm quite
surprised they didn't put it in artificially. I mean, they put in yeses and this is awesome. I'm quite surprised Corbin tapped out that quickly. I mean, his back wasn't particularly worked on. He was pretty much on the offense most of the match, Corbin.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a bit weird, but it's one of those things. It's not hard. Well, this might be really harsh to Corbin, but I mean, he's one of those. He's kind of like characters that he's kind of the person that you want to get out first, because there's a lot of more believable names that he's kind of like the backdrop of the story. If you know what I mean. Yep. All these people in this match have like sort of storylines going on between each other. he's kind of just slotted in there because, you know, we need that sixth man or, like, you know, somebody else in there. But yeah, again, and also Cesaro looks like a beast. It's always great. Then you got KO came in, basically kicking ass. Sami Zayn trying to call out his former best friend to try and help him join, but you should know better that KO doesn't have like friends at the moment. And yeah, he basically tracked him, you know, attacked him, took him out. There was also a weird bit where Sami Zayn kind of, well, was it Kevin, them two at the top of the rope, and was it he bit him?
Yep, very heelish.
Yeah, but weird. I just think it's very strange. It's like, you know, this bit, you know, I just bite you. It's like, I know it's very, like, makes sense, but I just think that's really weird. But, yeah, we obviously had everyone done this, you know, the usual, everyone hits their finishes type thing and everyone's down type situation.
Yep, cannonballs, European uppercuts, pop-up power bombs.
Everything, running knees, and everything. Awesome spot. Everyone, I love that kind of stuff. But yeah, but then obviously we had the second elimination where KO basically went crazy, went very Austin, stunned everyone, pretty much. Then went into the ring, stunned Sami Zayn, eliminated him. He's out, so that's another one for the conspiracy book to add to his collection. Yep,
and Jey Uso comes in. Nice little bit of invention with the cell. It's hard to create when it's been around for such a long time. Create those original spots, but just jamming Kevin Owens' arm into that entrance of the chamber, which looked painful.
It did.
And with Owens trapped, delivers 3-4 super kicks, rolls him back into the ring, hits him with another one, and Kevin Owens is gone.
And we're down to the final three. Obviously, we had Jey Uso, Cesaro, and Daniel Bryan. I think when sort of KO went, kind of that was everyone's obvious choice because of their history with Roman Reigns. So the only picks, obviously, the two with Daniel Bryan and Cesaro. Maybe Jey Uso, but we've seen that story before. So, but yeah, I mean, this has a cool moment. You had Jey Uso working on the knee again. Again, they've really been working on it through the match. We had a kind of Cesaro did this kind of swing on I think Jey Uso, I think it was swinging on either side of the cell that always looks horrible. I mean, it just like, it's one of those things that you just don't want that to happen to you.
No.
Would you want to take that spot?
I wouldn't want to take that spot. Like last year when Shayna Baszler did it, especially to like Liv Morgan, like absolutely brutal.
Yeah, it's one of those rare spots they can do that it never looks, you know, it looks awful, but in a good way, if you know what I mean. That probably makes no sense to anyone, but except for myself.
Damn it, Sue, what are you going on about? It doesn't make any sense at all.
Story of my life, isn't it? But yeah, obviously we had I think that's really cool gutbuster from the top. I think it was like so hit like kind of from the top on Danny Bryan. Like the strength of the man has never been in question. Cesaro, awesome. Done a one leg swing on Danny Bryan's knee again. Keep working on it. But yeah, to a lot of people surprised. Obviously, it took Cesaro got eliminated next by a super kick by Uso, another Uso splash from the top. Cesaro was out, so everyone's pick. That everyone was kind of thinking that he was going to be the one, kind of eliminated. Well, I wouldn't say early on, but kind of like not being the final two. That's kind of disappointing. But I mean, what you said, was he your pick?
I thought it was going to be Daniel Bryan after all the promo stuff he'd been doing on Talking Smack. I know Cesaro did some on the Talking Smack as well, but for some reason, when I went on their YouTube channel, it wasn't there. I couldn't find Cesaro's promo anywhere at all. But I expected Uso to, of course, come out last. It's likely that Paul Heyman pulled some strings, make sure that Roman's cousin comes out last. So he's got the best chance of winning the bloody thing.
Of course, because, you know, that's how Roman Reigns operates, right?
Yeah. And it creates the question as well, like, what would Uso do? I think, did Edge ask that question? Daniel Bryan asked the question on the Go Home show. What exactly are you going to do if you win? No, I think it was someone who interviewed him. It might have been Michael Cole or Corey Graves. So what would Uso do if he did win the Elimination Chamber? Would he just lie down for his cousin? Certainly create a lot more heel heat, I think. Finger poke of doom, maybe. That kind of moment.
What's the... Oh, yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah.
But It was, again, it's like with that kind of thing, it's like, yeah, it would have been interesting, but again, we've seen that from like kind of the early years of Roman Reigns' kind of title reign, and I think I'm liking his kind of descent to the dark side with being a part of Roman Reigns anyway. So
yeah,
but it gave it that, as I said, we like that if factor. It gave that, that maybe he will factor. That's always good in matches. So yeah,
nice spot at the end as well. Kind of force finish. Uso hits the splash. 1-2. Daniel Bryan kicks out. Uso tries to make sure that the job is done by going for another splash, but this time going to the top of the chamber pod. He dives, and Daniel Bryan gets the knees up. So it's just a classic counter to the splash. However, with the injured knee, that takes its toll. Daniel Bryan hits the running knee, thus injuring his knee even further, but he gets the win. And here comes the tribal chief, not the big dog, looking like an absolute badass. A bastard, but a badass, coming down to the ring, setting up for that spear.
I mean, to be fair though, it's like I was thinking, maybe because I'm trying to use that kind of booking where this would be the main story of the show. I thought this would be the main event. Like, big it up is this kind of thing. He wins it, and then at the end of the night, he kind of has to face Roman Reigns, and then kind of he fights valiantly, but that knee was too much for him, and Roman wins. But again, this works for his story well as well, because how did he win the title? Doing the exact same thing. Yep. So it totally works for his character, but it was a very short match, as you expect. With so you said going for the spear, Danny Bryan reversed it into the yes lock. The commentators were really, really selling that, when he had that locked in, that he's going to win the title. But no one in a million years thought he would. Roman Reigns came out with it powered out and done there. It's one thing that Roman Reigns I love at the moment with his character is his viciousness of his strikes. Those elbows and those punches he does to like, I think with Uso it was more prevalent, but here it's just like they were vicious. Best kind of vicious. After that, Danny was just out cold. I mean, the guy just went through
34 minutes. Yeah,
34 minutes Elimination Chamber match. Absolutely knackered, knees shot, and then he last ounce of energy to try and get it. No hope in hell after that.
Nope.
Locked in the guillotine that he's been winning a lot lately, and gets the win. But it was not over, as you expect.
No.
Again, he won it, turned around, boom. Very nice spear by Edge. And as we've been all expecting, he's made his decision. And he looks like he's going to face Roman Reigns for the Universal title at WrestleMania. And that, I've got to be honest, the sign, mysteriously, done fireworks, that for me signals an end of a show, not the start of a show.
Yes.
Maybe it's just me, but yeah, great stuff. Roman Reigns looks great. Edge picking Roman Reigns, awesome. And also, yeah, I said I can't be the only one that felt that like this is an ender of a show, not a starter of a show.
Especially with the fireworks, like for that image. I honestly thought that when Edge hit the spear and when he was going to pick up the title, had that create that. I thought they'd create that doubt. I think Edge still hasn't made up his mind. Like he'll tune in on Raw and SmackDown to find out, or would he appear afterwards in the WWE chamber and also do exactly the same thing to Drew? And as a result, that would have been quite fun. Because Edge has warned Drew before that the odds are stacked against him. He's also criticised The Miz for telling everyone exactly what The Miz was going to do. He's going to go out of the chamber and then cash it in afterwards. Edge's like, why would you do that? Why would you say what your plan is? But then Edge, if he did attack Drew after the match, and then as a result Miz comes down and cashes in and wins. Oh, imagine the reaction of The Miz. How pissed off Edge would be. He's like, yeah, thanks, you just did the plan for me. Everything went according to plan. I've played you. I've absolutely played you.
That would have been good. But I think it's been quite obvious since the kind of like teasers they've had.
Yeah.
It's like the only two, Roman is the only one, kind of. With you had obviously the Drew thing that was, I might be wrong, he might have just been hanging around. He kind of turned up one night, over 2 nights. The NXT one we turned up that no one in a million years thought it would happen, but it was nice that they even let us consider it.
A little bit of fantasy booking going on there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of him in NXT for like one or two matches, but him as the NXT champion, I'm not a fan, but that's just me. Don't think it's that kind of brand, but yeah. And obviously the Roman Reigns stuff with his first reactions where he's making him wait. It's obvious that obviously because rumours and stuff, but that's the story they were going for after that. Because obviously at first we thought Drew, because it made sense. He's on Raw. You know, Drew's the champion. It made sense, but they've gone a different direction. But I like it because again, you got Edge, great storyteller. The guy, we're finally getting the fantasy booking kind of stuff that we wanted when he came back anyway. And Roman's been awesome, and it'll be the first time. Maybe he might be main event. Might be the first time that he's main evented a show, and we don't want to boo the hell out of him. We actually want him there. You know. That sounds horrible, but it's just weird. This whole pandemic year, of just like the start of the pandemic, we hated him as much as we did. We liked him a bit less. We hated him a bit less because of the whole thing with his illness. But he's come back, done excellent heel work. Love his character, love his stuff, and now it's like he's in the main event of WrestleMania. And I've got a feeling if they're with the fans, he actually might cheer him. It's crazy when you think about it, you know. But I mean, as a match as a whole, I think it was a good chamber. Nothing to write home about in the sense of any shocks, but it was a solid chamber. I think good opener to the show. Should have been the ending, but that's just my opinion. But what do you think?
But when you've got the big old title change at the end, that kind of surprise, and it's a WWE Championship, it's a much more prestigious title. I'm not surprised that match wrapped up the show, even though this was the better chamber match.
Yeah. And also, it might be a joke, but I kind of, for me, it might sound horrible, but it's like there's obviously a different level of quality when it comes to the Smackdown storylines.
Yes.
And the kind of Raw storylines. Because with the Raw Smackdown one, there's all these interesting interchangeable storylines, like, you know, Danny Bryan, Cesaro, Kevin Owens, Jey Uso. Like, they've built up quite nicely that you kind of had options.
Yeah.
With Raw, there wasn't as much.
No.
It's you know, maybe I'm just being really heavily critical, but I just kind of noticed it.
Yeah, there's more options with on the SmackDown side, for sure. That's why I think we were saying Edge initially to go against Drew, because Drew's pretty much gone against everyone. Whereas Roman, there's Daniel Bryan, there's Cesaro. He's faced Kevin Owens before. You know, Shinsuke Nakamura has turned face recently. The Sami Zayn documentary, will that factor into a potential face turn? There's a lot more options on the SmackDown side of things. Yeah,
because they built up everyone quite nicely. I mean, I'm not even talking about the Intercontinental title scene with Big E and Apollo Crews and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, loving SmackDown at the moment. So, but yeah, just to kind of notice. But yeah, Chamber was good. The setup for the match afterwards made sense for Roman's character. Yeah, either way, it was a good start to the show. But the question, the sad truth, you could say the sad truth is, this might be harsh, did it all go down, did it kind of go downhill from it? That's in the sense of like the other matches on the card? Or do you think that's not fair?
Not necessarily downhill. I mean, it wasn't a car crash, but nothing topped it really, apart from there was a surprise at that surprise cash-in at the end. These two matches were complete filler, even though we also had a title change. In the US title match. They're talking about that Bobby Lashley is, I didn't know, he's the longest reigning or has been the longest United States champion since Sheamus back in 2014, I believe they said.
Just to point out that, just like that, put that in the, let that thing sink in. That basically they've changed that title so many times.
Yeah.
That it took into 2014 Sheamus to be the longest reign they've had. It's just it just shows how much they've really not cared about the US title for many, many years.
Yeah.
But obviously this was the triple threat we briefly brought up. That changed obviously because due to Keith Lee, but obviously a triple threat between Bobby Lashley, Matt Riddle. We're calling him Matt Riddle, not Riddle, and obviously not Keith Lee. John Morrison. That's again wasn't at the time. I was surprised because I didn't watch obviously the kickoff show. So. But it was like it was kind of what's that saying? A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one.
Yes,
in my opinion. Anyway. But yeah, again going into this one, it was more of a obviously the last couple of weeks, Bobby Lashley just basically been destroying Matt Riddle, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Showing his dominance, you know.
Matt Riddle getting wins against like MVP, MVP picking up the injury, but as they had in this match as well, Bobby Lashley demonstrating his absolute dominance and his strength. And this is the side of Lashley which is perfect for him. This is the Lashley we like to see, and then MVP is the mouthpiece. MVP barking instructions, kind of pep talks, whereas Lashley just goes on a rampage. That's the Lashley that we need to see more often.
Well, it's been the one we've kind of been waiting for.
Yeah.
I've been anyway. It's just like, because when they don't put him in any stupid feuds like, you know, the Lana thing and all that kind of stuff, they've, as I said before, the Hurt Business has quietly been doing their business quite nicely.
Yeah.
Just keeping it going, putting them in kind of storylines that not exactly blowing anyone away, but you know, they've slowly built them up as being credible. That's a nice change. But yeah, I mean, obviously they're both now. They've obviously got they had all the gold pretty much at this point. But yeah, going into this match, obviously you didn't think John Morrison's going to win because obviously he's a replacement, because that'd be weird. And obviously he's involved with the Miz, Matt Riddle, maybe if you want to do a shock, maybe. But
yeah, I liked his attire coming down to the ring. He looked kind of like Evel Knievel a little bit.
Well, to be fair, it kind of kind of works for him. We all know what they kind of book him as, kind of like this kind of dweeb, kind of like spaced out nerd. Yeah. Basically a stoner character, because he kind of is. But yeah, it was going into this match, I think everyone didn't think there would be a title change at all. So I thought, well, why take the belt off him? But when it comes to the match, though, let's be honest, it was basically 2/3 of the match was basically Bobby Lashley dominating everyone, basically.
As soon as Riddle and Morrison try to get some offense in, but Lashley would just attack straight away, showing himself to be a real threat in this match.
I mean, yeah, it was pretty much that. Like, you had this moment where Riddle and Morrison tried to work together. That didn't work out. They both done some high fly moves from the outside. Kind of worked, but didn't go anywhere. You had you know, was it Matt Riddle going to hit? Was it the floating bro?
Yep.
Yeah, hit that, kicked out. Starship Pain by John Morrison, kicked out. But let's be honest, the kind of cool thing about this match was the ending, kind of, with the whole, was it when Bobby Lashley kicked out of Starship Pain? You had a nice little exchange between John Morrison and MVP. That was kind of funny, I find.
They shut the hell up. It's like, you think that's gonna finish Bobby Lashley, do you? Nice little interaction between those two, taking the crutch away from MVP, trying to suck up to the ref like, oh, he's got a weapon. It's a triple threat, mate.
Yep, no GQ. You get away with it. Yeah. Sometimes you have to admit, even I have to think about that sometimes. Like, oh yeah, it's triple threat, you can do that, right? I forgot about that. I have to remember. But yeah, obviously he walked right into a hurt. Was it Bobby Lashley hit locked in the hurt lock? Morrison was basically looked like he was out for the count. Obviously Riddle got the crutch for MVP, hit Bobby Lashley in the back. Then went on top, hit the Bro Derek from the top. Yep. Got the pin, and I mean, maybe surprising not to everyone, but maybe to me, got the win. And yeah, he is the new United States champion. And he ran out of that place as quickly as he possibly could.
As I would have done. I would have done exactly the same thing.
Bobby Lashley was not happy at all.
No.
But yeah, I mean, again, it's nothing special, this match. It was kind of a lot more of a, because of the Keith Lee thing, it was kind of put together a little bit, but nothing wrong with it. Bobby Lashley doesn't come off looking weak, in my opinion, in this, because it took a crutch to the back and kind of a distraction to kind of get the, like a crutch to the back and kind of get the he didn't even take the pin as well, so obviously that's always good. So but yeah, I mean, just like, obviously this is the Bobby Lashley thing. It's normally we say, well, what would he do next? Well, we know what he did next.
We all know that now. We all know that. They made that very kind of, I kind of wish they didn't do that. It was the match after this, the women's tag, where they had the talk with, just beforehand we saw the Miz anyway, and there was enough ambiguity with Bad Bunny and The Miz. So Bad Bunny's like, I'm here because I'm the 24/7 champion. What are you doing here, Miz? So you're not in a match. You go, okay, is he actually going to cash in, or is he just there to do media, promo, whatever it may be? Or is he going to cash in? Bit of ambiguity there. But as soon as we saw backstage with MVP and The Miz, I'm like, there's going to be a cash in. But even though I'd seen the video of Miz's interview beforehand, just came up on my phone. Thanks, Google, YouTube, whatever it was, for ruining that.
They're annoying like that.
Yeah, very annoying. But that clip alone, MVP and Miz together, okay, I know what's going to happen now. Bobby Lashley is going to run down, attack afterwards. Miz is going to cash in. The Miz is going to cash in whether he's successful or not. But the cash in was inevitable.
But that's probably because quite late and too busy trying to focus on keeping an eye on anything else. Didn't clock that, but I did clock. I did clock the backstage kind of like talking to each other. But I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, you could have knew there was something up but we're talking about a bit more obviously the main event. But yeah, obviously normally we would go with this like, oh, what Bobby Lashley doing? That's like we know he did, so we'll go into that a bit later.
Yeah.
But yeah, for this match it was fine. But was it Matt Riddle, new United States champion? His first title in WWE. Even though
I don't like the United States Championship design.
Oh, I hate it.
He suits it because I think it's because I have the affiliation that he used to be in UFC, and it's not far off the design of one of the UFC titles. I guess I think that's probably what they went for.
Yeah, maybe it's just me, but just nostalgia for them. Really nice. I didn't think that United States design needs to be changed, but
no,
that's just me. But but yeah, good match. I think it's fine. Nothing to write home about, but yeah, new champion. Normally, we know what Bobby Lashley did afterwards, so it's nothing. Just something. It mixed it up a little bit. It's nice, so that's good. So after that we had the only women's match on the card.
Yeah.
Then when you think about it, it's not like great. They'll probably have two, but obviously we talked about earlier with the whole the World Women's Championship match wasn't going to happen because of Lacey Evans pregnant. Congratulations, Lacey Evans.
Congratulations.
But we'll talk about the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match between Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. The champions going against Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. This match felt like it was tagged on for me. It did feel like a kind of like, oh, let's put a different match up. I think they have been building it with the whole, Belair hasn't made her choice yet. So they're doing the whole like she's kind of tagging, them and her and Sasha Banks have been teaming. But again, it for me, maybe it's because I'm on SmackDown as much as I should. It did feel a bit tagged on, this match. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, there was more focus in the Go Home show to Reginald's infatuation with the boss Sasha Banks, like speaking on her behalf, giving her champagne, giving her more attention than Carmella. Involved in a intergender like 6-person tag team match where Reginald pinned Nia Jax due to a bit of comeuppance. Although we had in that match, in that build up to that moment, Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair attacking Shayna Baszler like on the outside, which is, if I'm not wrong, I don't think I'm wrong. That is a DQ, surely. That would be a DQ.
Well, unless the ref wasn't paying attention, but I guess.
Oh no, the ref was paying attention. They're just bad officiating.
That's proper criticism because obviously as you are a ref, different.
A rugby referee. I'm stickler for the rules or the laws as they're called in that sport.
Still, but refereeing anything, it must be disappointing you to see poor officiating. Yeah,
poor officiating. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you watch the Premier League week in week out. You see it all the time.
Let's not get into that. That's another podcast idea. Let's not get into that. This is a wrestling show. Let's not get into. But so terrible refereeing. But yes, again, kind of it's kind of you won't expect anything in this match because you kind of won't think. I don't think they're changing the titles going in, obviously, with that really cool. Kind of in 2 weeks with the Women's Tag Team Championship on the line against Dakota Kai and Gonzalez, who won the Dusty Cup that I'm actually looking forward to. So
as am I. I'm really glad that they brought up the history between Dakota Kai and Shayna Baszler, breaking the arm. And they gave Raquel Gonzalez some time on the mic as well, so that was refreshing. Because we don't really hear her speak that much.
No, I think because, as you said, as some people, it's like the old actions speak louder than words. And that kind of like, but yeah, she does. She's good on the mic. She's very good. Yeah. Obviously, it'd be more interesting when she split from Dakota Kai, but yeah, but it's like they set that up quite nicely in NXT. So I didn't think there was going to be like a crazy title change. So it's kind of more of I don't know what we was kind of expecting going into this. I was kind of like, okay, we'll just watch it. Might be a good match. There'll be something happened or someone does something, and then But I mean, obviously Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks have been worked quite well as a team. Really cool. One thing I'll point out, it's obviously they brought up the Nia Jax my whole joke that's I've put in my notes. It's no fun when you're playing along. It's no fun when you're. It's like if you're making jokes or bringing it up all the time, it's no fun. I guess and that's the point. Yeah. But it's like no man, that's supposed to be like an internet joke that they always try to ignore and not bring up, so we keep saying it, but they're bringing it up and bringing it in the storyline. It's like that's those buzzkills. You know, it's supposed to be a thing, but I don't know. Yeah, so I just thought I'd bring that up.
So those kind of jokes, I guess, can go. Another thing can go is that I don't know when they put in that kind of whip kind of sound effect before Bianca Belair's music.
Oh, it's always been a thing.
Why do we need to have that?
I don't know. It's the same reason What's the same reason why they used to put that creaking noise in Aleister Black's entrance when he didn't need it? Yeah,
or that kind of pinging sound for Ricochet. Why? We get it. Oh, it's Ricochet. It's a sound of ricocheting. No.
I know, it's just weird. It's like added details that you don't need to add on. But yeah. But again, that's always been her kind of thing. But yeah, I don't like it either. But personal choice, right? Personal preference, eh? But obviously had the cool stuff. There's some cool stuff in this match. It was kind of by numbers in some way. You had this weird thing where Bianca Belair, I think Nia Jax has like had Bianca Sasha Banks up as like a kind of gorilla press, and I've never seen like a thing where it's like I don't know, I can't know how to describe it, but like Bianca Belair was just like waiting for the catcher, but it looks so unconvincing. I've never seen anything with life. Like she was like it felt like a spot. I know it sounds silly to say, but I felt like someone said, okay, you wait there, go back, stay there, right there, stay there, boom, and then released her. So she caught her just right. Yeah. That's what it felt like. It's not a big deal, but I kind of hate it when I hate spots like that, personally.
You can clearly see them waiting, yeah, for sure. There's a bit of timing is required. Baszler runs into a drop kick from Belair, which is nice, leading into a Meteora by Sasha Banks. I like the Meteora. That's fun.
That's cool. It's a cool move. I think especially when it's from the top as well, it always looks really spectacular, and so it's one of the best movesets. Sasha Banks, but obviously we had another thing we had was really cool was a lot of Sasha Banks hit like a frog splash from the top that we all know she loves doing because of tribute to Eddie. We had Bianca Belair hit this thing called the Kiss of Death that I'm not quite sure what it kind of is, but again, it's a cool move.
It's like a face planting Falcon Arrow. Yeah,
love moves like that. But yeah, and obviously it looks like Shayna Baszler was out, but Nia Jax pulled them out. But again, as always with these kind of matches, probably with the same with the US title match, it's all about the ending.
Out comes Reginald with a bottle, probably most likely a cheap bottle of champagne.
Cheapskate.
Come on, most likely. I mean, you're not going to waste good champagne, are you? You know, in the bottle, you're going to smash it over the head of your opponent. Don't waste a good champagne.
They've all got money. Come on, they can afford to smash a bottle of nice champagne over someone's head. They can do it. They can afford it. Come on. But obviously Reginald came out what's the word? I was happy. How many word I'm in for? Basically, just came down and basically come on Sasha, to like because he had the bank statement locked in on Nia Jax. She got to the ropes, but then Reginald kind of like said, "No, use the champagne bottle." And me personally, because I'm a daft heel at heart, I would definitely use that champagne to win the match, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, Sasha Banks has more, you know, she's more integrity than I am. So she didn't want to use it. But she, because of that, she turned around, got as always, a Samoan drop by Nia Jax, got the win. Why did this match have to be like that? Why did it have to have this weird ending?
I don't know what I had to do that. I mean, they've been including Reginald in the build-up, but surely there was more scope to do something more with Sasha and Bianca, building that kind of tension. Will Bianca choose Sasha? So, for example, after the match, you could have had Bianca come into the ring going, what the hell happened? There's a confrontation with Reginald. They both beat up Reginald, or Bianca beats up Reginald, whatever it was, and then leading to a heel turn. That'd be a nice surprise. Then someone does use the bottle, but they use it on each other.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, it felt, mate. As I said, the second to last pay per view before WrestleMania.
Yeah,
she's either going to obviously pick Smackdown, or she's going to drag it out a little bit longer. But yeah, I would have liked a bit more. So as you said, sow the seeds of like. Because it's obvious she's picking, in my opinion, she's picking Sasha Banks, isn't it?
Yeah.
They had a brief little exchange with Oscar, but again, poor Oscar. They always seem to forget about Oscar. So sad. It's just, you know, don't seem to ever want to do anything with it. So sad. But yeah, it's obvious she's going after Sasha Banks. It's obvious. But yeah, maybe it might be a cool little twist on SmackDown. Right, set up. But yeah, as you said before, the Royal Rumble review, I'm looking forward to this match because I think their styles are going to be great. They're both similar in style, similar in kind of like way their moveset's very similar, so it should, on paper, be a very good match. So yeah, but as a match for this, again, weird finish, nothing to write home about, no surprises really, and yeah, it was, as you said, just a filler. It's kind of a shame, but. But yeah, the funny thing is, and the next thing, the funny thing is, just when you think, oh, there's another match in there, you're like, no. You're like, boom, We're into the main event already. Even I was shocked.
Straight away. Yeah.
It was like, even I actually checked the time. Because obviously we're expecting, when you're watching WWE pay-per-views, you're expecting to stay up until like, well, us in UK, it's like, what, 3:30 in the morning? 3 in the morning?
Yep.
Nope, it was like 2 o'clock or something. It was like, oh, like we need the main event.
Yeah.
Like, oh. It's like, wow, this is a nice change.
The show ran, 2.5 hours.
Oh, more of that, please, more of that.
Yeah.
That's just so manageable. It's just imagine a Raw if it was just 2.5 hours or 2 hours.
Just 2 hours. There we go. That's enough.
So much. I mean, not saying I know anything about writing shows, but I gotta be honest. It must be easier to write 2 hour shows than it is for 3 hour shows. Just because that's like an extra hour that you. Not even the most creative mind ever could think of 3 hours worth of television each week that's entertaining. Just saying. But yeah. But anyway, with this main event, it's like, just came out of nowhere. Just like in the sense of like, oh, I thought there'd be one more match, but maybe that's where the Oscar Lacey Evans match was supposed to be. Maybe. But we will never know. So before we get to the main event, let's have a quick word from our sponsors.
A new year brings a new beginning. For all our listeners that own a business, we want to tell you about FedEx Office. If you are just starting or have been running your company for generations, FedEx Office gives you the best way to print marketing materials, posters, signage, graphics, and so much more. With FedEx, creating, editing, saving, and ordering are fast and easy. We are teaming up with FedEx and Podgo to bring our listeners 30% off your next order of $100 or more at podgo.co/FedEx. That's podgo.co/FedEx for 30% off your next order. FedEx, the world on time.
So yes, that was a word from our sponsors. So so obviously now we've done that, we're now into the main events that again we just brought up before the break. Wow, that came it came up very quickly, didn't it? Like
it
ridiculously
did
quickly.
I was half expecting them to throw in some kind of maybe 24/7 championship match or some long ass backstage segment or just some completely irrelevant match that needs to be settled as like a little dispute on SmackDown or Raw, and then just put it in the last minute. Like, stop doing that! You just go straight to the main event, especially when those Elimination Chamber matches are half an hour long. It's like you don't need to throw in those toilet break matches. There's no need for them.
Yeah, so you don't need that. I don't know. It's just I think it'd be nice if we kind of knew the kind of what the card, or like kind of like knew going in, because even halfway through the show I was still thinking, are they going to put that Oscar match in now? But yeah, I mean, I'm never going to complain that I get a chance to go to bed earlier in the UK watching a wrestling show. So I'm not going to complain. You know,
no, neither am I.
I like sleep. So, but yes, obviously talk about the main event. Obviously was a normal elimination chamber for the WWE Championship with the champion Drew McIntyre, his former friend Sheamus, Randy Orton, that's had some trouble recently with Alexa Bliss and basically satanic worship. That's pretty much where they're going with that.
Yep.
AJ Styles being AJ Styles. Jeff Hardy, because, you know, you kind of have to have someone like Jeff Hardy in a match like this. And again, surprisingly, it was a nice surprise. Kofi Kingston gets his first opportunity at the title since 2019.
Yeah, Kofi Kingston, we've mentioned before, was added in last minute, defeating The Miz. Not on the go-home, but the previous week, I believe. Defeating The Miz. The Miz decided instead of 2 championship opportunities, he just wanted just the one. He didn't want to injure himself in the Elimination Chamber. It was smart, I'd say. Yeah, you don't want to injure yourself in the build-up. I mean, do they still have the stipulation with the Money in the Bank where it has to be cashed in within that 12 months? I know he hasn't held it for that long because he won it from Otis, but... Yeah,
well, we all forget. Like, poor Otis. Didn't he... Just a quick tangent. He's turned heel, by the way.
Looks like it, yeah.
Right, how random's that? Like, I mean, I'm intrigued because it could... When his face turned, he haven't really done anything with him, so...
I mean, it did have him with... They did have him with Tucker, and Tucker turned heel and then disappeared. And Chad Gable is like a dickish coach, like kind of Kurt Angle kind of esque, happy like I'm your hero, not being completely oblivious to how obnoxious they are.
I can't wait until fans are in the building, and
yeah.
don't be surprised if they start chanting "You suck" because they know where this is going.
Yeah,
they know what kind of characters. I can't wait for that. But yeah, again, nothing to do with this match. But yeah, so Otis turn heel. But yeah, but when it comes to that, yeah, Miz. I think I did see someone say that it wouldn't be interesting that for once, like someone, like the time ran out on them cashing. Like they literally had it for 12 months and they never cashed it in, and then they run out, and then they have to get they had to be given the briefcase taken away from them because they ran out of time to cash it in. That they have to do at some point because it's the only kind of thing that they haven't done yet, because they've pretty much done every variation they can think of with that briefcase, right?
Yeah, I quite like the idea of if they don't cash it in with a certain period of time, they have to defend it. Sort of like our briefcase.
Yes, but or like well, kind of different, I guess, with the New Japan stuff, with the whole when you win the United States opportunity or the G1 stuff where you have to defend it. Yeah. Not in the same like stipulation of like that, but yeah, like the briefcase isn't just a thing you hang around for a while. You have to defend it. I actually would like WWE to do with that Money in the Bank more, where it's like you have to like defend it each week, so it builds them up better. So when they do cash in, they've had a good push. But that's just,
they don't have to defend it each. I don't think they have to defend it each week. But if someone pins them, say it's non-title match or a tag team match, then yeah, put that briefcase on the line for sure.
And yeah, and also it racks up the wins. Everyone, as much as some people say, and as things like AEW and New Japan prove, that if you rack up consistent wins, you look more credible. I don't want to say it's not rocket science, but it kind of, you'll be surprised how much people, if you keep winning consistently, people start to believe in you. It's pretty obvious. But apparently with the Money in the Bank briefcase, apparently they don't want to do that. But anyway, we digress on a thing that's not about majority of this match. We'll talk about that later on. But yes, obviously Kofi got his first opportunity. Again, this was a bit over the top with the stuff. The whole complaint of this match going in was a lot of these guys are like over 40, quite old.
All get into the match because they are former WWE champions.
That makes sense, but again, it's the old argument about age. It's not a mixture between old and young or something. That's the usual argument, but I don't think it was really fair. I just think it was like a lot of, especially when you got people like AJ in there and like Jeff Hardy, and they're really good. So, and especially Kofi. I mean, come on. So, I think it's one of them arguments that wasn't based on this match, but more on the kind of, I don't know, the overall problem with WWE. But yeah, that was the kind of thing going in. But yeah, obviously kick off with Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton. One thing I've got to point out is what the hell was Kofi Kingston talking about? Like when it was Randy Orton came to the cage, and he kept talking about how much he loved his muscles. He looked ripped.
I obviously missed that bit.
I mean, I don't know what it was. It was just like it was Randy Orton. He got as you expect in chamber matches. They all look at everyone in the pods, and they kind of like stare them down as you expect. And it just looked at Kofi, and it's just like he's just acting all really annoyingly happy because Randy Orton's the guy he had this massive feud with, and he's not pissed with him. But it's like he's sitting there, oh mate, you look ripped, you look proper good, and I'm just listening to this. I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you doing, Kofi? Like,
I think he's just trying to throw him off. I think he's just trying to throw him off his game. I guess, you know, power of positivity. You look great. Get him into that full sense of security. I guess. But
I know it's not a big deal. But I just noticed it. It's like the confused face came at me. I was like, what are you doing? But yeah, I think with this match, the Chamber in general it was very more slow paced.
Yeah, especially when you had 2 minutes in, we had a rest hold. Like, come on, Orton. Really? A rest hold? We haven't even started this fucking match.
The famous rest hold. But yeah, it's I gotta be honest. Like the first couple of the Smackdown one was like first 10 minutes was really good because it was quite technically good. But this one was just very slow, very, in my opinion, a bit boring. And me personally, I was waiting for the next person to come in. Yeah. And obviously it was Drew McIntyre came in. Basically, the guy is pissed off at this point. Obviously, his friend betrayed him, so he's quite pissed off at this point.
Yeah.
Went nuts. Throwed Jeff Hardy into Kofi's pod. It's kind of a nice little thing. He kind of said, I did tell you to move. It's kind of nice. What a shocker. Obviously, they broke the pod, so guess who was next? Kofi. And then Kofi came out of nowhere, done a roll-up on Orton, and Orton was the first person to be eliminated. I was shocked, because a lot of people were thinking there was going to be some weird... I was expecting some spookiness from like Alexa Bliss and The Fiend.
I was expecting some spookiness as well. So maybe Alexa like hanging from the roof of the pod, or maybe as he's left the pod and the lights go out, then all of a sudden Alexa is in there. Those kind of mind games that could be quite fun. Or maybe at some point where Orton's about to go in to the pod, or if he had started like in the pod. For example, and they wanted to say have the Fiend return, that would have been quite nice where the pod's not opening, the lights go out, and the Fiend's in his pod with him. The reveal, that could have been quite nice. But I guess they want to put off the Fiend return a little bit longer. I still think they're going to build towards the Fiend's return and him go against Orton, that similar kind of Firefly Funhouse set up, that kind of character assassination.
Very excited for that, if that is where they're going. Because that John Cena one was awesome last year. So
yes, it was.
And a lot of character, as much as Randy Orton's also one of them characters that's been around for a long time, that needs to be interesting to see if they bring up some character assassinations on it. It would be great. So I hope that happens. But yeah, obviously that got a bit weird on Raw, but kind of with the whole he's spitting out black goo. That I'm assuming they're going very satanic, very, something's. I don't know where they're going with that. It's just weird, but yeah, they're going there. So they done it there, not here, but yeah. So he got eliminated first, looked like Kofi.
He got eliminated first. Obviously, we were expecting some spookiness. I think he mentioned on Raw that it's because Alexa Bliss and all that satanic stuff was in his head. But then there's part of me thinking, I don't think you wanted to be in the chamber. I think you just wanted to get out early. Or maybe he had some kind of knock, some kind of injury. So maybe he couldn't go too nuts. Had to be very careful and had to go out last, or go out first rather. That's where one of the reasonings, I think.
Maybe it's just finally Kofi can get another comeuppance. Maybe he got it when he was his WWE title reign, but yeah, I mean it's nice Kofi got the roll up, but yeah, it was kind of like, oh. He just got eliminated for the sake of it, and that's it. Again, would have liked a bit more creativity, but that's more nitpicking. But Orton was not happy at this point. He just RKO'd everyone, Jeff, Kofi, as you expect. But when all this kerfuffle was going on, if that's the word, AJ took the AJ took the opportunity to opportunist, as he is, using his was it Almas? If it's
Almas,
his bodyguard to break the kind of seal that's kept keeping him in there, or the kind of has to be on the plexiglass. Got out, ran through the back of the cage, round the cage to the door. Had a weird conversation with like Randy looking at him, but that was just really weird.
Are they trying to build towards another feud, I guess, or like some kind of tag team? I have no idea. The Phenomenal Vipers? I don't know.
I'm not a fan of that, to be fair, mate. But yeah, that was a bit weird. Just stopped him in his tracks. It's like, nah. But it didn't matter. Obviously, AJ went to the ring, trying to pin both. Try to hit. Try to pin Jeff Hardy and also Drew McIntyre, both kicking out. And then obviously Pierce doing what he probably should have done at the start of the match, as well as he did with the cameramen of Sami Zayn. Chuck him out. Get rid of him before the match. It's like
good stuff.
It's where someone said rightly. It's like you can't praise a guy for doing his job.
No,
should have done that in the first place. But it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, so that happened, and then obviously came in with they had this nice little Sheamus came in basically, but they had this nice little camera angle they had before he came in. It was quite nice. The guy was like focused and proper pissed. But he came in as you expect with Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, good face-off.
Yeah, a hockey fight. Yeah, hockey fight ensued.
It's also good, as you expect. Obviously, that's probably the most, you could say the most interesting storyline in the chamber, you would say, because it's only one that's kind of, everyone in that chamber. I think, Sheamus and Drew McIntyre is the only one that's got kind of a story going on. Might be wrong. Yeah,
bit of history. I still think there's still scope and they could still lead to, it wouldn't be my preferred storyline, but Drew and Sheamus at WrestleMania still for the WWE Championship, if some things go a certain way.
Well, we'll talk more about where I think that's going to go when we know about the ending. But I do think Sheamus is going to be involved in it though. Obviously you had that. You had this weird, some sort of Tower of Doom spot. Kind of, you always have that kind of thing. Kind of go in with Jeff, AJ, Drew McIntyre, and Sheamus. It wouldn't be a elimination chamber match with some sort of Kofi jumping off something, or taking everyone out. He had a crossbody on everyone earlier on, but then obviously he went for the top of the pod, as you would. It's kind of the obvious spot, but and then obviously, and then out of all that, obviously then out of nowhere, bro kick on Kofi Kingston. He's out. So we're down to, but yeah, it's just, but as always, Kofi Kingston's always that kind of person you put in these matches, sadly. He can do the big spots, as much as we would love Kofi Mania 2, sadly, it's never going to happen again, sadly.
No. It's not his year, unfortunately.
No, but, after that we had, obviously, Jeff went basically what Jeff does, Twist of Fate on both Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. Went to top of the pod again. He has to do his spot as well because it's Jeff, because he likes doing anything that could almost kill himself because he's completely insane. Instead of doing a swanton bomb from the top of the pod, he decided to do a whisper in the wind from the top on everyone on the outside. He did go up to the top, hit a swanton bomb on AJ, but what I liked about it is obviously Drew McIntyre came out of nowhere, a nice Claymore kick that again always is a cool move when it's out of nowhere, and he eliminates Jeff. But so I mean, there's always them. It was kind of a lot of this was the part of the match where it's just spot kind of thing. It was starting to pace up a little bit.
Yes,
it was good. It was kind of nice, but and then obviously in the final three, then it kind of went weird when he was AJ and Sheamus, kind of saying we'll team up against Drew McIntyre. Again, that Sheamus does this awesome high knee. I think he done it. I think last time I saw him against Jeff, but I don't know what it is about his high knee. Or like he strikes again. It's really good.
Yeah, that thump to the iron knee strike was absolutely brutal. That was lovely. That led to the close two, followed by some clubbing blows. They're trading shots. These two former friends. We have a Glasgow kiss and a white noise. AJ gets back into the fray. 450 splash. Sheamus goes after A.
Yeah, I don't think he got all of it, did he? Like, I think he hit the first one he tried to do. I think he kind of missed it just.
So the first one he didn't miss, but he did lose balance on that top rope. But because he is phenomenal, he managed to get his balance.
Yeah.
Channeling a little bit of Ray Phoenix in there. That man is not human. After the 450 splash, we've got a move which isn't utilised by many wrestlers, but it's very effective. Some kidney shots by Sheamus and some more clubbing blows. Clothesline off the top rope. Drew McIntyre comes back in with a Future Shock DDT. Remember when that was his finisher? That's now his signature.
I would love it if he actually start winning matches with that move again. Would be nice. Yeah. But that's just me.
Drew goes for the Claymore. It is counted into a bro kick. However, then there's the big surprise of AJ appearing and hitting the phenomenal forearm on Sheamus. And a 1, 2, 3. Sheamus is not one of the final two. It's in fact AJ.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, we were surprised by that. I don't know, it's just because obviously they said the only story he had was with Sheamus and Drew because of the whole betrayal stuff. But we kind of thought that was where they would go. But yeah, I mean, again, it's AJ Styles, come on. And also, I kind of know, we all kind of know now because we know that the only person that can take the spot at the end and make it look awesome is AJ Styles. But yeah, obviously after that was, as I said, the match ended. He went for another phenomenal forearm on, was it Drew McIntyre? But as you were kind of waiting for it. Maybe if you waiting for that kind of spot out of nowhere. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe everybody else. But you're waiting for maybe a Claymore kick out of nowhere. And my God, they did. I love spots like this where it's jump up, trying to hit the phenomenal forearm, and then a Claymore kick in midair on AJ Styles. He gets the win and retains his title. Again, by the numbers chamber match, but again, Smackdown was just a little bit better. But again, it was still good. I think it picked up near the end. But I did enjoy it. I think we're not surprised by the winner, of course.
No.
But again, it's not about the match. It's about the ending. It's about what happened after. So as maybe it's because as you paid attention more than I was, you were expecting a cash in. I should know, could you tell me? But apparently, as you know, wasn't listening as always, so that's my fault. But I wasn't expecting it. But yeah, and then I was like, "Where's the swerve? There's got to be a swerve." Then boom, Bobby Lashley comes out, attacks Drew McIntyre, kind of as you said, hit a spear, hit the hurt lock, basically beat him down to destroyed him. And then you're thinking, why is he doing this? And then the Miz comes out, music awesome, comes out, cashes in. Interesting one where he you would have thought he would have gone for the skull crushing finale first, but he went for a low DDT. Drew kicks out. Miz goes for the skull crushing finale. 1, 2, 3, and he shocked the world, kind of, with the Miz becoming a 2-time WWE champion. I gotta be honest, obviously, what was your thoughts on it? Do you think that was were you kind of happy, or like, oh my God, that's awesome, or were you going, I'm a bit conflicted? What were your thoughts?
Well, at least it gives us a kind of new angle to go towards Fastlane rather than trying to find Drew an opponent for Fastlane, which he will inevitably win, and then go to WrestleMania. It also gets rid of the inevitability of maybe the Miz trying to cash in at WrestleMania as well. But the whole storyline of getting Bobby Lashley involved and him getting a title match for the following week on Raw, he defeated Bobby Lashley, and now that match just a single match. That was part of the agreement backstage. If MVP's client, Bobby Lashley, came in to help the Miz, Bobby Lashley would get a title shot. But of course, Miz is a chicken shit heel and said, "No, I'm not going to do that." Then Braun Strowman turned up and said, "I want a title shot."
Because, that's how you get title shots, WWE, isn't it? It's like, do you want a title shot? Sure. Do you want? Can I have one? Yeah, go on then.
So that's what we've got to do. All we've got to do is turn up to the Thunderdome and go, "Can we have a title shot, please?" Yeah, all right. Just give it to us. All right.
No, I just want one. It's fine. No. Obviously, in this case, they kind of didn't, because they had a match between Bobby Lashley and Bobby Lashley won. Thank God. I'm just saying. But yeah, again, this ending, I was conflicted. It was kind of like I was happy for the Miz, but I was like I didn't know what to think because it's like I just felt for Drew because it's like start of Royal Rumble. This guy, we could have thought we had some sort of set plans for him.
Yeah,
and now first at Edge, and now it looks like he's not even in the main event at the moment, and he's not even got the title.
Yep.
And it's just like I even put the question on Twitter, like, what are you going to do with Drew?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are going to think it's kind of good because it mixes up the title scene, but they kind of think he'll win his title back at Mania, get his big moment in front of crowd. That's cool, but could you see a fatal 4-way?
So my initial thought is that the Miz Lashley match will go down. Lashley will be dominant. Miz will be chicken shit, get Morrison involved. Maybe it looks like Bobby Lashley's about to win, or someone's about to get the upper hand. Drew McIntyre appears because I don't think he was on Raw. Drew, he appears like, we haven't seen him since Elimination Chamber. It was only 2 weeks ago. Hits a Claymore, and that sets up because Bobby Lashley, I guess, didn't really get his fair title shot because of a DQ. Drew McIntyre lost the WWE Championship because he was down, he was injured, and it was a cash-in. So I can see a triple threat match happening at Fastlane: Miz, Lashley, and Drew. Drew winning that. But
I'm just thinking of the Sheamus angle.
Yeah. So with Sheamus, I mean, it could be a fatal 4-way match. Sheamus getting involved in there potentially. Maybe even AJ. My initial thoughts is it's going to be it'll be a triple threat match. Drew will win, leading to Drew versus Sheamus because they're going for that storyline at WrestleMania, or Sheamus wins it at Fastlane, and then Drew gets his big moment at WrestleMania again, winning that title in front of a live crowd.
We can hope. We can help because obviously I think Drew deserves it. The guy's been what's the joke? The guy's got back problems because he's been carrying Raw for the entire year. Like, he actually has been really good as champion. He's been brilliant, but I just think it'd just be unfair if he's not in a title match.
Yeah,
and he doesn't win it.
He has to be in the main event. He has to be.
The rumour's gone around that it's going to be Bobby Lashley and versus Drew for the title. Like, Bobby Lashley's in the title scene. The Miz isn't. Apparently he's going to be involved in that Bad Bunny thing that, again, I'm not a fan of, got to be honest. Apparently it's going to be a tag. Again, this is all rumours, so it's probably all rubbish, but apparently it's going to be a tag match where obviously Damian Priest is now Bad Bunny gone against The Miz and John Morrison. That is cool, but I think The Miz will be better in the title scene, but I don't know. I was more of at first I was thinking, I was confused. I was like, I don't know what to think of this, but then, good conversation on Twitter, had time to think about it. It's mixed up the title scene and it's kind of desperately needed no more.
Or you keep the Miz and Morrison feuding with the Hurt Business. So the Hurt Business are more like a tweener kind of faction. So they go after the tag titles, potentially against Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, because there's some dissent slightly with Shelton Benjamin a little bit, and I think the Miz and Morrison can play well into that. I think if you remember, it wasn't Royal Rumble or TLC, where there was that tag team match where Shelton was about to get the win, but Cedric Alexander comes in and steals it from his own teammate, which is very odd. But Shelton Benjamin hasn't really been doing anything for the Hurt Business, so set up that tag team match. Miz and Morrison win, and they kick out Shelton Benjamin, and maybe they bring in Keith Lee. I don't know. Maybe they bring in Ricochet.
That's what we're all kind of thinking though with the triple threat. A lot of people kind of sitting there saying, is he going to win the title? Or he's going to help Bobby win and join the Hurt Business or something? But yeah, I mean, it could do that. I mean, I just think, I just like the idea of Fatal 4-Way. I mean, it mixes it up a little bit. I mean, to my credit though, I just remember the last time we had a Fatal 4-Way in a WrestleMania main event, it did not go well. So maybe I shouldn't ask for things that I know will not go well. But I don't really, I'm not bothered in some ways what is what. I just want Drew to be in the title picks and I want him to win it. So I mean, but on the positive note, if we're going to be positive because we are positive people, is that at least they mixed it up a little bit, because it has mixed it up on the title scene and Raw, and it's like now we've got possible contenders for the title now. Like Drew goes against, you got Sheamus could go against it. You've got The Miz, you've got Bobby Lashley. You could say Braun Strowman, that maybe I wouldn't, but you could. It's got the same kind of title picture that you would maybe on SmackDown's got that kind of option. So it has mixed up in a good way. So if I'm going to be positive, I would say it's good. But yeah, if anything that gets Drew that title back at WrestleMania and get his big WrestleMania moment that he didn't get last year, I'm happy with. So yeah, and it did end the show with a talking point. That's not always a bad thing.
We'll just get two pay-per-views in a row where we've had big talking points, with the conclusion making us want to tune in to the next episode. So the previous one at TakeOver, Adam Cole's heel turning on them, kind of causing dissent in Undisputed Era, but turning his back on the Kyle O'Reilly.
That again has been awesome, but again that's a discussion for another time. But yeah, again that was an awesome cliffhanger, and this one maybe not as good, obviously, but it still kept us thinking, oh, I actually do want to see Raw. Yep. Let's see what happens.
Where are they going with this?
And obviously the intrigue of the kind of what was this deal that he did with MVP. It was a good ending. I liked it, but again, it's like as I said, we kind of finish off with the kind of talking about like the whole show as a whole. Very finish off like. What's your thoughts on the show?
The Chamber wasn't really that relevant, I don't think. Too much. Apart from the Universal Championship, where they've got to go through that entire match, that hellish structure, and then have to face the champion who's completely fresh, like directly afterwards.
They kind of done the spot twice, though, didn't they? Technically, that's kind of it's different variations, but it's same spot. It was short, so I can't get too pissed off. Let's be on 2 hours. I'm happy.
Technically 4 matches,
Yeah, we don't count the Roman one because that was too short. But I think if we describe it, opening chain match was good. I liked it. I think the best one of the night. Could say the best match of the night, maybe. Lead into the Roman one makes sense because that's what he does. The US title match was just fine. It was good. Had an interesting ending. Kind of the ending made sense. Now you know what happened at the end. The women's tag team title match was kind of just filler, and it kind of just I don't want to say forgettable because that's kind of harsh, and it was okay, but it was kind of forgettable. And the main event was also good. It was good, but I don't think I just think the SmackDown thing just had a bit more and a bit more. I was more intrigued in that one than this one, but yeah, and obviously the ending mixed it up a little bit. Obviously, when you've announced it, I can't sit there and say, I didn't see it coming because he kind of did say he was going to do it. So, but if you're going to give it a rating, that's the end of that. What would you give this show?
I think just for, I guess they had 1 or 2 like surprises that bumped up the grade a little bit, but the 2 matches, especially in the middle, were very forgettable. The Elimination Chamber should be more barbaric than it is. Or than it was on that show. This is the worst one for a while, and not because of the storylines are awful, but afterthought on this road to WrestleMania. The road to WrestleMania is when you should have the biggest talking points, and we only really have 1. Technically 2 if you count Edge now going against Roman Reigns.
But we're kind of that's not a surprise. It's more of a finally confirmed something we already knew. But yeah. I don't know, it's just you think if we all know the rules in WWE, it's kind of like they give a crap for 4 months when it comes to Royal Rumble to WrestleMania, and then after that they kind of drop the ball. But it seems like that looks like they're mixing up again and dropping the ball on the WrestleMania road to WrestleMania as well. But good stories. But yeah, the matches were. It's like they don't have watch your back. They're kind of back to the kind of pay-per-views that we kind of don't like watching, where you can watch them, enjoy them for that, but then you would never go back to them. But didn't have a stand-up match. But yeah, it was fine. It was short. Didn't harm anyone. But yeah, if I was going to give it a grade, I'd get a number. I'll give it 6 out of 10, maybe 7 for the cash-in. Maybe
I'd go 6.
Nothing crazy. Nothing. Obviously, it's as like a wrestling standpoint, it's a huge step down when you've watched an awesome takeover the week before prior. Because that was, I love that. That was an excellent piece of pro wrestling. But yeah, so. Yeah, so that's our thoughts. One or two things to wrap up here is obviously just a quick. I put a poll out on Twitter. Literally because I was up late enough, I put it out around about the time everybody else would be up. So only 8 people voted for it. But it's interesting because, as I said prior, it's 8 people voted for it, but apparently 8 people couldn't make up their mind because I put great, good, okay, bad. All of them got 25%.
Wow.
So it's this show is a definition of polarizing.
Absolutely.
So yeah, thank you for all the people that voted. By the way, it's all.
Thank you very much.
Polls are always fun.
If you're wondering where you can find said polls, you can find our polls and other thoughts, other interactions, and where you can find our review on Twitter at Josh and Stu Pod.
Yes, and also if you want to find, obviously we're on Instagram, obviously posting much more stuff in there now. So check that out at the Josh and Stu Wrestling Podcast. Obviously, check out our YouTube channel. We do have one. I know. Don't act surprised. We do have one. Just type in the Josh and Stu Wrestling Podcast. Obviously, we have nice little clippets of the episodes, maybe other stuff on there. But yeah, we're trying to post more on there, so definitely check that out. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a comment would be also awesome. A comment would be great. But yes, obviously YouTube. Yes, also, and yes, obviously I've got, as much as talking about polls, I've got a survey out that not a lot of people have done, but we'll get there. Is what was the best pay-per-view and the best match of last month? Mm-hmm. That should be on Survey Monkey. Was it Survey Monkey? I'll put the link in the description of this podcast, so definitely check that out. Lots of good matches last month, so it should be a hard pick, especially and the pay-per-views as well. Especially when you've got Wrestle Kingdoms in January, so it's going to be hard to, if any pay-per-view can top that. So definitely check that out. But yeah, that's finish off what I started off with. See if we get a go. So as I said, start the show. We done put out a question of who's been involved in the most Elimination Chamber matches in WWE history. Josh, Stu, obviously haven't been cheating because obviously been too busy reviewing. So Stu, haven't got a clue. Have you had who it is?
I could play with you here, but I do know the answer because you told me before the recording.
I know, but you might forget.
But I'll use my acting skills. So I have mentioned Triple H, Randy Orton, maybe even Kofi Kingston's been involved in a fair few of them. Maybe Sheamus, because he's been around for quite a while as well. Maybe Edge. He's been involved in quite a few prolific chamber matches as well.
4? I could probably count them on 4, 3, 4. I don't know. I don't know that maths, but yeah, it's been a while. But yeah, so I guess I should just stop with the whole pretense and just tell everyone. But basically, yeah. So obviously it was. If you didn't get the answer, obviously, awesome. But yeah, so it's Chris Jericho with 8. Now I just need the drum roll, but I'm not going to get that pretentious. So but yeah, so obviously Chris Jericho with 8. That I was actually quite surprised because he said Triple H, like Batista, other people in there. It's like, wouldn't they be more? Triple H definitely, if it's supposed to be his baby.
Yeah.
You would think he'd be the one that says, well, obviously it's my idea, so I've got to be the one that tops all the charts. But no, it's Chris Jericho. Sad truth is, you'll never hear that in WWE programming.
No.
Because he's now, I wouldn't say blacklisted, but they don't like him at the moment. So, but yeah, and also just a nice bonus knowledge here. He's also eliminated the most wrestlers in a chamber match with 10. As overall. So yeah, so basically this is if he ever decides to leave AEW, that probably won't happen anytime soon, and they say, what is Jericho's match? You can say the Elimination Chamber. But yeah, obviously, hope you got that. I'm not going to sit there and say that if I didn't do this question know the answer myself, I would know. But again, it's just picks the wrestling brain, because that's always fun. So yeah, so hope you've enjoyed. I don't need anything else to say.
No, not really. We'll be back for AEW Revolution. That's next week, isn't it? Yeah. It's
2 weeks, I think. It's on the start of March.
Yes.
I think, it's on a Saturday. Unless they've changed it, I think it's on a Saturday. Unless they've changed it to Sunday. That would be a bit weird. But yeah, so we'll be back for that. that's going to be I'm looking forward to that, because as always they've got some great matchups, especially with the Moxley and Kenny Omega.
In an exploding barbed wire death match.
I don't know what to think about that. It's kind of like,
how are they going to top their death match from was it a year ago? That was insane.
I don't know. It's kind of like that kind of it's kind of like that feeling where you're thinking, I'm kind of like, you're excited but also like confused, like how are you going to do this? Like it's gonna, but it's obviously it's in John Moxley's playhouse, so he can probably make it work, because if you watch any of his CCW stuff,
yeah,
there's no limits of craziness they can do in matches like that. So that should be good. So we'll be back for that. So no, I don't think there's any more to say. That hope you enjoyed, and I've been Stuart Irvine.
I've been Joshua Plummer.
And we'll be back for AEW Revolutions. Until then, have an awesome week. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.